What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Alatorre, and if you've been around for a while, you probably noticed I took a week off of YouTube last week. Aside from a video I had go up over the weekend that was pre-filmed, and that is because I had a little bit of a setback, a little bump in the road that prevented me from filming makeup tutorials or applying makeup to my skin. I broke out in folliculitis. I did an entire video on it, so to catch you guys up to speed, I've linked the video here if you want to check that out and see what happened. You'll see in a bit when I take the makeup off, because I do have a lot of post-acne marks. We're gonna call it post-acne, even though it wasn't acne. It was an infection of the hair follicle, hence the name folliculitis. But to keep it simple, we're gonna call it post-acne marks and a breakout. I finally was able to wear makeup 3 days ago, and since I've been able to wear makeup, I still have texture, the discoloration, not so much dryness, because I really took care of my skin during treatment. So I have a video that is going up or is already up on my skincare routine that I did during the outbreak. So watch that if you guys haven't already, or stay tuned if it's not up. And because of that, I feel like makeup could either look really good or really bad. Because if you have texture on the skin, discoloration, sometimes adding more makeup almost has you feeling worse if it feels cakey or like too much, if it doesn't feel fresh. And I have been applying this specific makeup look for the past 2 days because it has me feeling fresh and healthy and dewy. And I don't focus on the texture, on the bumps, on the discoloration, because I feel like this makeup look totally disguises all of that. So this is gonna be another video really focusing on hashtag just the tips. I know, it's so stupid, and I'm still trying to make it a thing, even though it's not a thing. I'm pretty sure no one has used that hashtag. But I really wanna focus on tips and techniques in this video to have you looking fresh and healthy when you might have really textured, dry, or discolored skin. Mine doesn't look that bad anymore. Again, I've been taking really good care of my skin with this routine, so check out that video. Highly recommend you guys watch that. But I now know what it feels like to feel insecure in your own skin if you have acne, post-acne marks, because I was really able to clear up my skin the past 2 years. I've had very clear skin, very minimal breakouts, a very even skin tone. So to have this happen was a little, I wouldn't even want to say discouraging. It just kind of really opened up my eyes to how others might feel if they're going through the same situation. So if anything, I hope this video helps you to feel confident in your own skin, even if it is with just a little bit of makeup on. So I've done enough talking. Let's jump straight into the tutorial. What did I use? I used my Clindamycin on any active breakouts. I used my hyaluronic acid from Youth to the People, which isn't here, so let me grab it so I can show it to you guys. This is the Kale Tripeptide 5 Vitamin C Hyaluronic Acid Serum. I used that. And then for vitamin C today, I used my CEO Rapid Flash Brightening Serum from Sunday Riley. And on the darker spots along my chin, I used my Perricone MD Vitamin C Ester 15 for spot correction. And then for my moisturizers today, I used the NARS Skin Total Replenishing Eye Cream, as well as the Luminous Moisture Cream. If you guys are sleeping on NARS skincare, definitely check it out. I used to judge it really hard, even when I worked there, or when I first started working at the boutique. I was like, I don't use skincare by makeup brands. And then I was forced to use it because obviously that's all the skincare we had to prep clients' skin with at the boutique. And it's honestly really, really good, which is why I still use it. So definitely check it out if you're looking for moisturizers, eye creams, skincare that works well underneath makeup and with your makeup throughout the day. The NARS Skin is designed for that, and it works really, really well. So now we can get into the makeup. Psych! One more thing I almost forgot to mention, and it's super important. Sunscreen, I'm using this SPF 50 by ZO Skin Health. It's called the Eclipse Daily Sheer Sunscreen. A lot of the skin products I'm using right now to help treat the folliculitis, the breakouts, make my skin more sensitive to the sun. So sunscreen is incredibly important, especially a high SPF. So the lowest I'll go is SPF 50, and this one works really great with makeup. It doesn't feel heavy, doesn't leave you looking white. And it's a high SPF. So that was my sunscreen. Now for the actual makeup. So the foundation that I always rave about, and the reason I don't show it a lot here on YouTube, is because of the shade range. It's not very inclusive. It is a very niche foundation. I believe it's either Korean or Japanese, called Kogendo, and this is their shade range. I used to be the darkest shade, 143, which is this one right here. And they since have added 3 additional shades, so this is the darkest color that they have. So that's the reason I don't show it a lot on YouTube, because I know a lot of people, if they then wanted to go and purchase the foundation or check it out for themselves, they might not be able to find a shade that works for them. But this is the foundation that I use, that I truly love, that I think never fails me. It always looks good, especially when I have very textured skin. It just kind of melts into the textured areas, patchiness. It reduces redness. I don't know what it is about it and why it works so well, but it does. So this is the foundation that I tend to use. But the other foundation that I always recommend that has a very, very similar finish but has an incredible shade range is NARS's Sheer Glow. I tend to mix a bunch of shades. I bounce between Barcelona, Stromboli. This is Cylon to help lighten Stromboli. So they have an incredible shade range. They're also expanding their shade range. This is the one foundation that I feel goes on like butter. Same thing like the Kogendo. These both go on like butter. They melt into the skin. They almost look more so like tinted moisturizers than they do foundations. So if you want to check out the Kogendo one, check it out. If you want a similar finish in your shade, you'll most likely go towards NARS's Sheer Glow. So just wanted to give you guys that option. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the Kogendo Aqua Foundation. Again, I'm using shade 143, which I somehow managed to use on a majority of my clients back when I freelanced. I used it on a lot of bridal clients, and it always looked good. This one shade, 143, I don't know. It blends in well with skin to the point where it just looks super natural. And the way I like to apply it, especially when I have texture, is with my fingertips, because I feel like it works it into those textured areas. So I don't do a full pump, I just add a little like that. And I start to blend it in circular motions, really warming it up and working it into the skin. And then I'll continue to do that until I cover the entire face. And do you guys see how it covered up the spots? This is a sheer foundation, it's not full coverage. Again, I don't know what's in it, why it does that, but it just somehow, some way manages to really even out uneven skin tone and especially reduce redness. They just need to expand their shade range and cater to all markets. They're trying. I'll give them credit. They added those few shades, but that's not nearly enough for everybody in the world. So you can see some of the spots are still showing through. So for that, I use Laura Mercier's Secret Camouflage. I almost retired this product when I got my sunspots removed. Remember, I used to use this all the time to cover up those really dark sunspots on my cheeks, but since then, I only use this whenever I have post-acne marks. So I'm going to be using shade SC4 to color correct these, and then I'm going to show you my trick to further cover it up and still have it look natural and blend in with the rest of your skin, because sometimes concealer can look a little, or it can be detectable on the skin when applied after foundation. And because I use my fingers to apply the foundation, I couldn't apply the concealer before because it would move it from the areas that I was covering. So let me just show you how I use Secret Camouflage. I just use my fingertips to warm it up into the palette or onto my fingertips. And then I'm gonna get a mirror so I can see up close what I'm doing. I just blend it into the areas that need coverage. And you should be able to get a really good match with Secret Camouflage. That's why there's 2 colors. It's not that one's a correcting shade and one's your skin tone. They made the concealer this way so that you could custom match yourself and create a concealer that matches the area that you're trying to conceal. But sometimes it still is just a little more detectable in comparison to the rest of the skin. So what I do is just really blend it over. I mean, this is a pretty good match, but you can still tell I have concealer on the face. And with this concealer, you definitely want to use your fingertips because it really breaks it down. If not, I feel like it can go on pretty chalky on the skin. I've heard that complaint from people that they've tried it and it looked chalky, but you really have to warm it up and break it down with the warmth of your fingers. So, and then here's my trick to blend it in with the rest of your foundation. I'm going to take a little bit of that the cap just fell on the floor. I'm going to take a little bit of the Kogendo foundation, put it on the back of my hand. I'm going to take a beauty blender, a clean, damp beauty blender. I'm going to pick up the foundation, and then on the end of the beauty blender that has the foundation, I'm going to use that to blend out the concealer. That way, it'll blend right in with the rest of your foundation on the face. I've tried blending out the concealer on its own with the Beauty Blender, and I feel like eventually the spots still show through. Maybe you move it around too much, you pick up too much product as you're blending. But if you use a little bit of foundation over top of the concealer, I find that it blends out so beautifully and you can't even tell that you have concealer on. And voila, everything is covered up. I definitely love using a Luminous Dewy Hydrating Natural Finish Foundation over a matte foundation on dry textured areas, even though that's contrary to popular belief, and that is because I find that, or the problem I encounter with matte foundations is that as I wear them throughout the day, those areas that are dry and textured end up looking even more dry and textured and cakey as the day goes on, whereas a hydrating natural finish foundation just kind of blends into those textured areas very nicely. The key is just to really set it so that way you don't stay super dewy and it doesn't reflect light and emphasize the texture. I don't know, give it a try. If I think most of us have been told to use, or to mattify when you have texture, but try using a natural finish foundation and setting it with powder, and then not further highlighting those areas, and see how that works over using a matte foundation, and let me know how you like it. So now, before highlighting the skin with concealer, I'm going to correct the under eyes just to make them look brighter and more awake. I always do this step with my Teint Idole Ultrawear Camouflage Concealer, shade 260. Any peachy, salmony colored concealer should work for this. I'm trying to think. If you guys have any recommendations, let me know. I always use this concealer. But if you have a favorite peachy, salmony, under eye corrector or concealer, comment down below so I can check it out and expand my range, because I'm always using this one. But this bottle honestly lasts so long because the product is so concentrated that you only need a small amount. So I'm just gonna go ahead and warm it up between my fingers and then apply it underneath the eye, the inner corner underneath. And then I'm gonna highlight the center of the face with the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in shades Golden Beige and Almond. I feel like it's a good combo for my skin tone. It doesn't come off too neutral, pink, or yellow. It's like the perfect undertone when I mix these two colors. And the finish of this concealer is really nice. It's not super matte, it's not super dewy, and it also doesn't crease up a bunch. So it's a good option if you are a Tarte Shape Tape user. I love Shape Tape, but it can also be a little too drying sometimes, a little too heavy. And this one, to me, this is like NARS Radiant Creamy and Tarte's Shape Tape had a baby. This is what you get. You get like that nice natural radiant finish, but with the longevity and wearability of Shape Tape. So I'm using Almond and Golden Beige just underneath the eyes, and then I'm going to use my Beauty Blender to blend it out everywhere else down the center of the face. Okay, so here's another really important tip for you guys. Aside from the concealer tip, the foundation tip, this powder tip is critical, because sometimes you spend all this time covering up texture and spots, and then when you start applying other products like bronzer, blush, and highlight and powder, they pop back up because you shifted around the foundation and the concealer that you worked so hard to apply. So here is a little trick that I like to do with powder to make sure it's really locking in those areas. Instead of using a fluffy brush like I normally use, I normally use this Hourglass brush. I absolutely love it. But to really press the powder into the areas that I worked so hard to cover up, I'm gonna use a kabuki brush. Another great option is a powder puff, like the one that Laura Mercier makes. LH Cosmetics has a really good one. You know, those like classic powder puffs. That's another great way to really press powder into the skin. I'm gonna be using the Laura Mercier translucent powder, the original. It's like a no-fail powder. It always works so good. And I'm gonna dip the brush directly into the powder, pick up a good amount, and then tap off the excess. And then I start by applying the powder to the areas that I, again, don't want to move later on. So I'm taking that kabuki brush and I'm just really pressing it into this chin area where I have the most amount of product on my face. And I'm just really pressing it into the skin. And you might have to dip back into the powder, grab some more. And then the other areas are right here on the cheeks, which is especially important because I know me, and when I start applying bronzer, I might shift that product around there, and then those post-acne marks might pop back up to haunt me. I didn't have any tips to share having to do with the brows, so I just filled them in really quickly with this NARS Brow Perfector in the shade, I think it's called Naïa, Medium Brown Cool. And I'm gonna continue on with the skin. So when it comes to bronzer, Bronzer can also make you look really chalky or muddy, so it's really important to pick the right bronzer. I've really been loving this NARS, I believe they're called Sun Washed Bronzers. It's in the shade Laguna, but it's not the original Laguna formula. It looks like this. And I love this formula so much more than the original Laguna. I used to love Laguna, but that one you can easily go really heavy-handed with it. Another formula that is very similar to the NARS, to this Sun Washed bronzer is the Makeup Forever Pro Bronze Fusion bronzers. Those are, I feel like, a very, very similar formula, but they're essentially like really sheer buildable bronzers that aren't completely matte. They have like a nice little sheen to them. So I'm gonna go ahead and start building on this bronzer. And also, when it comes to applying bronzer, you wanna do a light tapping motion, especially if you have breakouts or texture along the cheeks like I do. So for here, how I have those little breakouts right here, or the texture, instead of rubbing the brush back and forth or doing like any sort of blending motion, you're gonna pat. That way you're just layering more product on top of the foundation, the concealer, and the powder, and you're not removing it with those swiping motions. So just pat and build. And see how beautiful this bronzer is. Also, the color is very, it's very warming. It's very, it's like a very healthy bronzy look. It's not too orange, not too taupey. It's like the right shade to make you look sun-kissed and healthy. So just lightly patting that everywhere else, forehead, hollows of the cheeks, bringing it onto the apples of the cheeks, and the jawline. I also do like this little motion on the tip of the nose with whatever's left over, just to add a little bit of color. You guys have probably seen me do this trick in the past. It's just one of my favorite techniques for a quick, fresh makeup look where everything looks very cohesive. So I'm just picking up the bronzer on a Smith 232, and I'm gonna start building that into the crease of the eye. And then with a smaller, more dense brush, this is an IT Cosmetics no name brush because it's rubbed off, but it looks like this, just like that. I'm gonna apply it to the lower lash line as well. I may have just lied to you guys because even though the bronzer is one of my favorite products for giving you that sun-kissed glow, this next product I also credit for making you look really dewy and fresh. And it's one specific product. It's a classic. It's been around for a long time. I just kind of forgot about it until I went to Sephora and got sucked into the travel size section. So this is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid. It's in the travel size, so it comes with a little applicator like this versus the pump like the actual size comes in. This cream highlighter looks so beautiful. I'm kind of mad at myself that I forgot about it. And the reason I bought it was because, well, first of all, you should never skim around in the travel size section. You should hope that there's no line and you can go and directly pay at Sephora, because the longer you wait in that line, the more random stuff you buy. And I was traveling and realized I hadn't packed a cream or liquid highlighter, and I always like to bring at least one to use on my body or to use on days when I'm not wearing makeup and look dewy and fresh. So I saw this one, and it comes in a little pack with the travel size, I think it's the powder, like the compact travel size Shimmering Skin Perfector. I'm pretty sure it's the powder, not the cream. Anyway, it comes with another product, so worth it. I love this little applicator more so than the pump, just because I can apply it directly to the skin. So what I do with this product is I apply it to the high points of the face. So I'm gonna start with the tops of the cheeks right here, just like that. I bring it onto the brow bone as well, above the brow like this, down the nose. If you need to pick up more, go ahead. A little dot right there. Not, maybe like a little bit on the chin, like that. Then I take my beauty blender and I lightly pat it in, and this product just dries down so beautiful, so natural. It looks like your skin is glowing and not the product. Also, the color, this is the shade Opal, just blends in so nicely with my skin tone. They have a variety of shades as well, so find the one that works for you. But honestly, I'm like so mad that I forgot about this product, because just look at the way it makes my skin look. And when I was wearing this on Instagram stories in the car, so many of you were commenting on how fresh my skin looked, knowing that I was still recovering from the folliculitis. And all of you wanted to know, and honestly, this is the look. This is all the makeup products that I had on that day, and just look at how fresh that looks. I don't know, the texture is so unique. It's like, it's creamy, it's not too watery, so when you blend it in on top of foundation and powder, it just blends out really nicely. It doesn't move around the foundation, it doesn't cake up. I also do this little trick where I apply it really close to the lash line right here, and also the inner corner, and it gives this beautiful glossy effect on the eyes as well. And that's all I do for the eyes. And then again, just pat it in with the Beauty Blender. I don't know, sometimes powder highlighters can just look a little unnatural and too much when you're going for a natural look, especially in natural sunlight. Natural, take a shot every time I say natural. But they can just look like a little much. They can look a little more textured, too glittery. But this cream highlighter, oh my god, it's just Opal by Becca. Shimmering Skin Perfector for the win. Another product that will bring out a glow is a cream or liquid blush. So again, this is pretty similar to the last trick in that it's not a cream, it's not a powder. It's a very, it's called Fluid Sheer. It's a very fluid blush. This is Fluid Sheer by Giorgio Armani in the shade number 11. I love this color. It's kind of neutral, just adds the right amount of color to the cheeks. We're gonna take a pump of Fluid Sheer on the back of the hand, like that. Pick it up with the Beauty Blender. The Beauty Blender is key because it allows you to really pat on product and not move anything else that is on underneath. So we're picking up the blush and we're just gonna pat it onto the apples and blend it back. So that is it for the skin. All I'm gonna do to finish this look is add some clear brow gel, Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Mascara, I'm gonna use Caution by Hourglass, or actually no. You know what I've really been loving even on my upper lashes is, if you guys remember, I used to love Tarte's Lifted Mascara, the one that comes in a purple bottle, because it was a deep espresso shade. It looked really natural on my lower lashes. It was also extremely waterproof, humidity proof, so it didn't budge on my lower lashes or transfer, but they freaking discontinued it, so I had to go out and find a dupe, and I remember how much I love L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara, and this is in the shade Black Brown, which looks more natural for a more subtle look versus a really deep black mascara. So sometimes I'll use a mascara like Caution on my upper lashes and this on the lower. Sometimes I'll use this on both upper and lower. I think that's what I'm gonna do for today to keep it simple and a little more natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all those steps and then finish it off with a lip. And for the grand finale, all I'm doing is taking a all I'm gonna do is wipe off any excess foundation on my lips. I'm just using the Neutrogena makeup wipes, which, by the way, how did I just find out that they make them in fragrance-free? I much rather use fragrance-free wipes to clean up things like, you know, I don't use wipes to remove my makeup, but I do use them to remove things like lip color or like little like accidents that happen. And I much prefer a fragrance-free option because it's less irritating on the skin. So I'm glad I found this out last time I went to Target. So I'm just using that wipe to remove any excess foundation because all I'm gonna do for the lip is apply the Fenty Gloss Bomb. This gloss is, like, I don't know what the heck she put in this, but it's so good. It instantly makes your lips look so juicy and plump and luscious, and it smells and tastes good. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. I just blend out the, why do I always drop everything in my videos? But I like to, with my fingertip, just blend out the foundation on the edges so it doesn't look like it just harshly ends around the lips. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a good amount of Fenty. It smells, you know what it smells like? It smells like Kool-Aid to me, or like Jello. I don't know, it smells so good. But I'm gonna go ahead and apply the gloss and wrap up this video. And that completes today's tutorial. I feel alive and like a new woman again after not wearing makeup for a week. And honestly, this is probably like my second or third time doing makeup since yesterday, maybe like the day before that. And this has been my go-to look. It just makes me feel really fresh and healthy and dewy, and I don't even think twice about the texture and the post-acne marks that are hiding underneath this makeup. And it does feel really lightweight, it feels really fresh. I feel like if I'm talking to someone in person, they wouldn't focus on the texture or any sort of bumps on the skin because they're not that detectable. And even though this looks a little more dewy on camera, everything on camera just translates way more dewy, which is why people go for more matte foundations or matte looks on camera. You definitely have to switch up your makeup routine depending on what it is that you're wearing the makeup to. So in person, this looks really fresh and clean and beautiful, and on camera it just might look a little more dewy because of the direct lights that are on my face. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are currently suffering from dry, textured, dull skin, let me know if you give any of these products a try. Again, I highly recommend these products when it comes to achieving this technique because they all just look so natural on the skin, on camera and in person. So let me know if you check any of these things out, if you try any of these techniques. Hashtag just the tips. I still feel like it's so stupid and we're not even using it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know the drill. Give it a like, share it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.